Good morning, my friends. I'm going to begin our service by lighting our third Advent candle this year. We've lit 2 candles in the past 2 weeks for hope and for peace. Today we soon will light the third candle, the candle of love. And with this flame we signify the love of God that surrounds and fills us at all times, but that we recognize in a special way in the Christmas story. There's no greater power than love. It is stronger than rulers and empires. It's stronger than grief and despair. It is stronger even than death. We love because the love of God kindles within us, and we need to share it. So let's light the candle of love and remember a light that shines in the darkness that shall never, ever be overcome.
We will light 3 candles, and we will be willing to light every taper in our lives. For love asks for all that is needed, and then for everything else. For this is how incarnation happens, how God comes. We light 3 candles, or 100, or 1,000 more, whatever it takes to remind ourselves to live in love. As ordinary and gentle as the holy welcome that turns the world upside down, comes hope, peace, and love to illuminate our Advent. We light the candles of hope, peace, and love anew. I will light candles this Christmas, candles of joy despite all the sadness, candles of hope where despair keeps watch, candles of courage for fears ever present, candles of peace for tempest-tossed days, candles of grace to ease heavy burdens, candles of love to inspire all my living, candles that will burn all year long.
Beautiful. Thank you. Will you join me in a moment of opening prayer? God of love, we open ourselves to you this Christmas season. As these candles are lit, light our lives with your imagination. Show us the creative power of hope. Teach us a peace that comes from justice. Fill us with the kind of joy that cannot be contained, but that must be shared. Magnify your love within us. Prepare our hearts to be transformed by you. We may walk in the light of the Christ, the path of the Christ, always. Amen. Well, now we need to sing, my friends, and sing we're going to. Let's get into these Christmas hymns, with some favorites the next couple of weeks. Why don't we rise up in body or spirit and belt out a favorite Christmas hymn of mine, O come, all ye faithful. Please be seated, everyone. There's a way to kick off a service in Advent, with some incredibly old paradigm theology and sung to a beautiful tune. I love that song, I really do. This is the one time a year we do go back and sing the old songs with the old non-inclusive language because people prefer it, It's the young woman, we sing around young virgin rather than young woman, even though we know that it was a young woman, right? We still say round young virgin. I guess we just can't get away with it, but away from it. Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Faith United Church of Christ on this kind of gloomy Sunday morning here in Dunedin, Florida. Special welcome to any visitors we have with us, first-time visitors, return visitors. We are delighted. People that missed us last week when we were closed have come back. We're delighted to have you all with us. And if you're online with us for the first time, second time, return, or just online with us, we're delighted to have you here. If you are online, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube page or like and share our Facebook page if you are there, and you can comment as well and let us know what's going on in your lives as well. If you have any joys and concerns to share. But we're just delighted to have you. And send a note to office@faithucc.org if you'd like to get on our newsletter list. And if you're in person here, go ahead and sign our friendship book, which we keep on the table in the gathering space so we can get you on our newsletter list and keep you apprised of all the happenings that we have going on here. We're not going to let COVID stop us, are we? No way. Apparently we did have a super spreader event here, though, 2 weeks ago. Our first one ever, which is actually pretty amazing. It was the first one that we've had. So, you know what I realized? I really didn't want to shut down last week, but you know what? It's okay to shut down from time to time, right? We have an online presence. We can close it down for a week if we have to. So last week was very affirming. We care about one another's health, and I think that shows in how we've handled this whole COVID process the entire way. So we'll see what the future holds. Hopefully we'll never have to do that again. But God knows in this day and age with all the viruses flying around out there, who knows? So be prepared. But luckily we have online, so it's great. So I miss being here, so it's good to be back. Also announcements, we have a congregational meeting today that was supposed to be last week. That's going to be today. We are going to look at the budget. We're not voting on the budget, we're just looking at the budget. And are we introducing the slate of candidates today? We're introducing our new leadership team candidates today as well to be voted on next week. So we have 2 congregational meetings in a row, this week and next week. So we do need a quorum, so please stick around. Members, well, we don't do any voting today. Next week members can vote, but everybody can stick around and comment and look over the budget and all those things. So do, stick around today and plan to stick around next week. These are very important meetings and we do have to get some business done. So stick around today. Carl's Social Justice Action Meeting is Tuesday at 7 p.m.
That's correct.
That's correct. Not 7th at 7 this time, but,
No.
So if you would like to attend that, talk to Carl Von Meigen up here in the choir, and he'll give you the details, but it'll be 7 p.m. in the gathering space. Did anybody notice anything different on your way in here this morning? Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, we got a mural going up thanks to the work of our racial justice team, all of you out there. Our artist Jade was here working yesterday, and she's not finished yet. She was the one that painted the bee in the Black Lives Matter down in St. Petersburg. So she's going to put a gorgeous mural to represent inclusion on that wall. So finally, so when people drive by here, our rainbow flag always pops, but now we'll have something else to pop and draw people's attention up here as well, and hopefully get them coming up to say, what's going on at this place? I want to check it out and come in for a Sunday service and see what's going on. So watch that mural unfold over the coming weeks. It's going to be beautiful. Are we going to do anything with it? Are we going to do a little dedication or anything like that? Are we thinking through that?
That's meeting on Tuesday.
That's for Tuesday night's discussion. All right. Join us on Tuesday to discuss exactly those kinds of things. And do check it out after the service. It's right over on the side wall over there. We have a staff here that works so hard, from music to maintenance to our office manager to singing, just doing all sorts of stuff. And we want to every year offer them a Merry Christmas in the form of a Christmas bonus. So if you would like to contribute to that, just please make sure that you note that it is for staff Christmas bonuses, and we will make sure it goes into that pool and give our awesome staff a Merry Christmas this year through a nice bonus. So thanks for consideration to do that. We have a special announcement about a spiritual journaling potential here by Marion Hayes. You want to come up, Marion?
Thank you.
You take the long way.
I did. It's my first time up on this side. It's a little different. I just wanted to invite you all. So I'm going to be starting a journaling/writing group. It's going to be focused on spiritual inquiries, big questions, contemplative questions, but don't be intimidated. You don't have to be a writer or an artist to do this. It's going to be using a writing practice technique that I've been doing for a few years that's taught by a Zen Buddhist teacher, and it takes meditative principles and puts that into journaling. So getting away from the ego, writing from your heart, writing from your soul, and kind of letting your conscious mind step out of the way and letting the spirit kind of work through you, through your writing. So it's a really beautiful practice. I'll provide prompts, and then we'll dig in together and share. It's a really special part of my life, and I thought it would be really nice to share it with you guys. So I'm going to provide a little blurb about it for Mike to put in the newsletter, and then whoever's interested, if you want to just give me a heads up so I can get a rough head count. I'm going to do it virtually over Zoom. yeah, I think it could be really special and nice, so I wanted to see who would be interested in doing it. Right, thank you.
That's great. Talk to Marion if you're interested in being a part of doing some spiritual writing. That is fantastic. Well, I'll just lift up some concerns today. Most of you probably heard by now that Mama Liz died last week. She died on Thursday morning peacefully in her bed at home. She was 91 years old. She was surrounded by family coming and going, and she had a beautiful view out the window of the birds. So it was a very peaceful transition for her. We're going to miss the heck out of this lady. She was such a special, special lady. I always remember my many hugs, coming in there. She hugged everybody in here. It was amazing. She just had so much love to share, and she will truly be missed from Faith UCC. What a real loss for us. But she's no longer in pain. She's been wanting to go for 2 years. So rest in peace, Mama Liz, and peace be with her family. There's going to be a service at Sylvan Abbey. There's a reviewal on Friday night from 6 to 8 at Sylvan Abbey. And then there's going to be a memorial service at 2 p.m. At Sylvan Abbey on Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 17th. So if you'd like to attend both of those, then they're going to go to a graveside right after that, where there'll be bagpipes over at the Sylvan Abbey Cemetery right across the street. And then I think the plan is, it's still being hammered out, but the plan is to come back here for some food. So again, this is all in flux right now, but the Sylvan Abbey piece is set. It's Friday night and Saturday. So come on out and honor a really special lady, either Friday night or Saturday or both. So she will be missed. Continue to hold the Stiers family in your hearts and prayers. Chuck was able to spend a couple of weeks with Tom as he is in his end of life time right now, and Chuck and Pam were able to be with him. They had some really holy time together. So keep Tom Stiers and Chuck and their family in your hearts and prayers. Also hold Robin Ferguson, our new member, Robin Ferguson, partner of Kim Otisi, in your hearts and prayers. Her mom, Belle, died suddenly the other day. So they were traveling up north to go and to be with their family up there. So hold Robin, Kim, and their family in your hearts and prayers. And hold Lori Walker in your hearts and prayers. She is recovering from a surgery she had last week. And I think she's doing well. And on the mend, she's at home. So Lori, you're probably online with us right now. Just know we're thinking about you. If you need anything, you need some food, you need a ride, whatever it is, you just lean on us. Give me a call, give the church a call, and we'll definitely be there to help you out. So keep on healing. Do we have any other concerns folks would like to lift up this day before we shift into some joys? Any concerns? Oh, come on over, Cindy. Sit down.
Hi, Cynthia Litterdale and Tom, my husband out there. We got to spend 3 weeks in Ohio with family, and we've had a lot of things going on. My mother, who's 92, after we left, a few days after we left on December 2nd, she was back in the hospital for like the 4th or 5th time this year. She's had a infection on her leg and some other complications, and so that's tough. And my dad, who's 98 and has his own set of issues, is at home alone, and so it's a dicey situation. In the meantime, Tom's sister, Julie, she's been in and out of the hospital. She's got things going on with breathing, and they intubated her, and the good news was they were able to remove that tube. But anyway, she's got all kinds of things going on with her, and Tom is going to have a cardiac catheterization on Thursday, and probably some stents or whatever. So we've got a lot of prayers for healing that we're saying for ourselves, so we hope you'll join us in praying for healing and just well-being for our whole family. Thank you.
Absolutely, Cynthia. You bet. Tom will be thinking about you when you go in for your procedure. Absolutely. I want to also lift up Mary Alexander is not with us today because she is in rehab. Mary Alexander was one of our many folks that tested positive for COVID-19. Spent a couple days in the hospital, is now in rehab, getting her strength back and getting stronger. So give our love to Mary and let her know we're thinking about her. Let's all hold her in our hearts and prayers, as well as all of you with, why am I holding this bottle of water? All of you with, that had COVID. I think it was 25 or 30 people, a lot of you. So luckily everybody's healing up well and doing much better. And there's other stuff going around too. I had some nasty bug that was not COVID, tested positive or negative several times, and so just be safe out there, my friends. Be safe. Sandy,
I'd just like to make like a quick announcement about Together.
let's get you the mic here. Joanne, she's got the mic coming over to you. Yep, there you go. Well, she's sneaking all around this place.
Good morning. I'd like to tell you about, is it on? No? Okay, no?
I'll just yell it over to you.
Not
Check it now, check it.
Okay, okay,
Come over there and check it. Go ahead, Sandy.
Go ahead.
I'll announce the details.
go up there.
No, just you go ahead. I'll cover up the details if you need me.
What?
Just talk. Make your announcement, Sandy.
Dining for Women, I love that name better than Together Women Rise. But Dining for Women here only meets every other month, on the first Saturday of the month. But what happened, we got canceled for the hurricane, and then we got canceled for COVID. So we haven't met in, 4 months? And, but there's a special, right now, a special thing going on whereby if we donate to them until 2 more days, it's 13, somebody is, a benefactor is going to meet whatever that donation is. So we have an opportunity to kind of make up. If you'd like to donate, you can put it in an envelope or write a check, put it up in the basket at the back, and just write on there, to Faith UCC, and at the bottom, write, Florida Chapter 28 FLTA. Just say Dining for Women.
Yeah, Dining for Women.
Just say Dining for Women, they'll know.
Or Dining for Women, that'll work.
If you need to catch that again, talk to Sandy right after the service. And for our online community, that will be, we probably can't get that in the newsletter because it's too quick, so we'll try and get some information out. But if you'd like to make a donation to Dining for Women, they've had to cancel several times, you can do that. Just make sure you note that it's for Dining for Women. Any other concerns you'd like to lift up this day? It's praying community, or we'll shuffle into some joys. Any joys you want to lift up this day? Oh, Elizabeth Cohn, hand quickly goes up. Microphone's coming right to you. It works now.
So, my grandniece ran away from the United States and moved to Germany, where she met a wonderful German man. And this week they had twin babies, a boy and a girl, one named Finn and the other named Fiona.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Obviously, we have a Fiona, but we're going to have a Finn. If you had a boy, it was going to be Finn for sure. So, yeah, that's awesome. Yes, Joan.
This week, Joan Schrader's niece had their first baby, 9 pounds, 1 ounce, and his name is Frederick John Becker.
Congratulations, Joan, if you're online with us. It's awesome. That's great. Good news. Love those joys. Any other joys? Oh, Leslie in the back.
My granddaughter graduated from University of Akron yesterday with the degree in art history.
Congratulations. That's awesome, Leslie. Thanks for sharing. Other joys you want to lift up this fine day? Before we roll into a really big joy. Doesn't happen often, my friends. It doesn't happen often here. But we have a big time joy today in the baptism of Isabel Aucoin. And we're really excited for this moment. So I think I've been here 10 years. I think this might be the 5th baptism. Little Charlotte was the last one about a little over a year ago. And they don't happen often, so we need to savor them when they do happen. So we are going to baptize a little one today. And it's so great that we get to do it together in community. And the How is that me?
Podium microphone.
Oh, really?
I muted it, hang on.
Okay. Well, I'll speak. I speak loudly, luckily. So, how's that? You're never going to forget that moment, are you? Oh my goodness. We're going off the rails already. So, as I was saying, the birth of a child is so humbling and so awe-inspiring that all faith traditions in the world have a ritual of welcome and blessing. So today we join our hearts and voices with faith communities of every variety and of every age as we offer thanks and seek blessings today with the baptism of a special child, Isabel. Well, baptism is a Christian ritual that shares some traditions with other faiths. For us, this water here in this beautiful blue bowl is symbolic of life itself, the waters of a mother's womb, as well as the water that sustains life day after day. But in baptism, it also symbolizes the waters of creation that represented the chaos of the capricious universe in which we live. Just as ancient Jewish tradition teaches that God created the world by bringing order to the chaos of the deep, in baptism we seek the spiritual blessing of the Creator to continue to speak to and amidst the chaos, offering us direction and hope. So in baptism, our spiritual journeys are affirmed by a community, all of you that will walk the journey with us always. And that makes this a very special day, as we bear witness together to the spiritual journey of not just Isabel, a child, but a family and an entire community as well. So grounded in the meaning and symbolism of this day, we have a child to baptize. With that, I'd like to invite Karen, Mike, and Isabel forward. Anybody that wants to come forward, I want to invite you up for this special baptism. Hey, kiddo. You're so beautiful. So cute. So I get clipped on here. There we go. If I did it the right way, that would really help things. Oh, how are you all doing?
We're good.
You're good. You're here. You're good.
We made it.
We got a little one.
We got a little one.
We're a little one. We're good. We are good. So I got a couple of questions. They're very painless, I promise. To Karen, first, you present Isabel to be baptized.
Yes.
Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. In presenting Isabel to be baptized, you pledge as her parent to always love and care for your child and give your child instruction and guidance into a meaningful spiritual life?
Yes.
Yes, I do. I knew you would. I knew you would. The care and nurture of a child is a task too great for parents. In reality, children are always in need of many adults to protect, teach, love, and shepherd them into adulthood. Godparents represent all of us who are not the birth parents of a child, but who covenant to also love, sacrifice for, be attentive to the needs of, and to care for them. So, Sean, I'm assuming, no, not Sean.
Sean's not here.
Sean's not here. So Sean is our godparent, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's my brother.
Well, so for Sean, in the spiritual sense, I bet he's online with us right now?
I think so.
Sean, I know you're online with us, wherever our camera is. Do you pledge to do all that is within your ability to care for this child? Sean, come on.
Come on.
Give us a yes. Yes, I think he does. I take that as an affirmative.
Yes.
And I ask of you, this gathered community of faith, will you accept your responsibility to care for and nurture Isabel and all of the children with whom it is our honor to be within community? If so, will you please answer, we will? We will. All right. That was easy enough.
That wasn't so bad.
Will you join me in a moment of prayer? Creator of all life, we ask that you bless this water as a symbol of birth, life, and creation itself for our use in this sacred purpose. Use this water to fill this family that have come forward this morning with your presence. Fill them with your wisdom so that they may teach Isabel to know the ways of your love and to be conscious of the beauty of the world and the goodness that surrounds them. Though none can escape sorrow and pain, yet we humbly ask for them the courage to face the hard times and the faith to transcend them. We ask for strength of body, clarity of spirit, that they may enjoy fullness of years that are paved with the foundation of a deep and meaningful spiritual life. Be with us, O God, as we celebrate Isabel's journey this day. Amen. Karen, what is the full name of your child which you wish to baptize this day?
Miss Isabel Jean O'Coin.
All right. Casey, can you go to the next slide, please? I forgot my clicker. So baptism, as I see it, is very much a communal event. Yes, I stand up here as the one doing the baptism, but it's all of us that are going to see Isabel through her spiritual journey and support her all her spiritual life as long as she is with us here in this community. So I like for all of us to say the words of baptism together. So they're on the screen, and I wonder if you will join me. Can I hold? Do you think she'll let me?
Maybe.
Isabel, can you
Want to go with him?
or do you want to stay with Mom? You want to stay with Mom? You can stay with Mom.
Okay. We'll stay.
So will you all join me in this words of baptism? We baptize you in the name of God, the Creator and Giver of all life, in the name of Jesus the Christ, who lived among us, manifesting the very love of God, in the name of Mother Spirit, whose presence sustains us always.
Good job, baby.
Wow. Well, that wasn't so bad, was it? It wasn't so bad. My friends, I'd like to introduce to you our newly baptized Isabel. Let's give her a round of applause.
Good job, baby.
I wonder if you will join me in this prayer of thanks. We give you thanks, Holy One, for the honor of sharing the spiritual journey of Isabel. Sorry, get over. Her family. This sacred glow. You may pass in the glow of this indescribable gift. May all our spiritual journeys, along with Isabel's, be blessed with reverence, awe, wisdom, and peace as we journey in faith. Amen. I love how I got to be the bad guy. Every time she sees me now, you all just get to participate. Every time she sees me, she'll be like, that's the guy that put water on me. That guy, yeah. That guy is a bad guy.
That's not true. She loves you.
I know. She'll forgive me. I have a feeling she will.
Yeah, she will.
On behalf of the congregation, we have a certificate for you. These beautiful flowers, which you're welcome to grab afterwards. And for Isabel.
Isabel, look, baby.
Now do I get to be a good guy? Is there a good guy here?
Here? You say thank you. Want to give Bear a hug?
This might take some therapy. I don't hope not.
She's very much loved her here this morning.
Oh, I know. And I go get it all wet.
Yeah.
Well, if you want, we're going to sing a special song dedicated to her now called Child of Wonder. Casey, you can put it on the first screen. And I invite you to maybe walk her around and let the congregation kind of let's see her up close.
Kisses? You want to go out here?
Yeah, you want to go blow some kisses? Go get her a cookie. I want you to join me. Let's all rise up and bow to your spirit. We'll sing this song together. This is called Child of Wonder, a beautiful song dedicated to our newly baptized Isabel and her family. Please be seated. Congratulations, Isabel and family. That song was for you. Kind of fitting with a joyful dancer, too, right? That kind of fits very well. I can already hear Isabel commenting on this moment. Years from now, she's like, first there was this loud, cringing noise, and then they put me up front, and this guy put water all over me. What a special moment. I love baptism. Anybody else has a baby that they want to baptize? Or you got a neighbor? You got a neighbor, like this guy loves to baptize kids. You just bring them on in and we'll just do a bunch of baptisms. It's so much fun. I want you to join me now at our moment of centering, and hey, close your eyes and take a few breaths and soak in some of that joy that we just witnessed with the beautiful child. Affirmation of her spiritual journey. Soak in some of that joy. Breathe it deep into you, into your bones, into your being. Maybe let go of any anxiety that you're carrying this day and try and set it aside for this time. Breathe in peace. Breathe out fear. This is the season of be not afraid. Let's let our short work of the people video center us in that affirmation.
Where refugees seek deliverance that never comes, and the heart consumes itself as if it would live. Where children age before their time, and life wears down the edges of the mind. Where the old man sits with mind grown cold. While bones and sinew, blood and cell go slowly down to death. Where fear companions each day's life. And perfect love seems long delayed. Christmas is waiting to be born. In you, in me, in all mankind.
morning. Our reading today comes from the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 1 through 18, from the Message translation. The Word was first, the Word present to God, God present to the Word. The Word was God, in readiness for God from day one. Everything was created through him. Nothing, not one thing, came into being without him. What came into existence was life, and life was light to live by. The life light blazed out of the darkness. The darkness couldn't put it out. There once was a man, his name John, sent by God to point out the way to the life light. He came to show everyone where to look, who to believe in. John himself was not the light. He was there to show the way to the light. The life light was the real thing. Every person entering life, he brings into light. He was in the world. The world was there through him. And yet the world didn't even notice. He came to his own people, but they didn't want him. But whoever did want him, who believed he was who he claimed and would do what he said, he made to be their true selves, their child of God selves. These are the God-begotten, not blood-begotten, not flesh-begotten, not sex-begotten. The Word became flesh and blood and moved into the neighborhood. We saw the glory with our own eyes, the one-of-a-kind glory, like Father, like Son, generous inside and out, true from start to finish. John pointed him out and called, "This is the one I told you was coming after me, but in fact was ahead of me. He has always been ahead of me, has always had the first word." We all live off his generous bounty, gift after gift after gift. We got the basics from Moses, and then this exuberant giving and receiving, this endless knowing and understanding. All this came through Jesus the Messiah. No one has ever seen God, not so much as a glimpse. This one-of-a-kind God expression, who exists at the very heart of the Father, has made him plain as day.
Hey, I know a lot of you are going to be traveling coming weeks, so I just want to take a moment and wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas and a very meaningful Christmas journey. I'd like to always be cognizant that Christmas, while a season of joy, can also be painful for many, painful season for so many in light of loss and grief, in light of painful memories, in light of expectations perhaps, never met. Like, I never got a chimpanzee when I was young. I always wanted a chimpanzee. Every year, I asked for a chimpanzee from Santa. I never got one. I'm not harboring any ill will or feelings to Santa, trust me. No, the season can be hard. Joking aside, the season can be hard for so many. But I also like to be cognizant of the sheer beauty of the season that we are living amidst right now, and that no matter where you are in your life, whether it's bathed in joy or reeling in pain or somewhere in between, Christmas will break in upon you like a wave of light and remind you that you are not alone, that the presence and the promise of God are given again to you this Advent season, that the words, "Be not afraid," find their fulfillment because they become so real and tangible in the birth of a baby, a special child that we await. So no matter where you are in your life journey this season, live those words that the angels sing. For good news has broken in upon us and illuminated us with love, and it will do so again. That's the promise of the season that we are living in. This season and what we celebrate in 2 weeks at Christmas are good times to trust in that and to live it fully, not to force yourself to believe in it. Don't do any believing this season. Don't. Throw belief out the window. Allow yourself to experience it and to trust that what those storytellers dreamed into being so long ago, our Christmas stories, they are universal hopes for life anew that break in again and again and again. And that is nothing short of beautiful. God, I love this season. Speaking of belief versus experience, I just mentioned I was at a coffee meeting at Starbucks earlier this week one morning, and I hung around afterwards to do a little bit of writing, and it was really crowded in there, and I had a large table for four, my favorite table, right up by the window in my second office. It's becoming my second office again, strangely, after a few years. And out of like a Seinfeld episode, a woman came up and asked, if she could share my table, which I said, absolutely. It's a big table. Please do share. And she put her giant Gucci bag down and her monstrous-sized Frappuccino. I think it's like a Trentino thing. Is that even a thing? Is there something beyond venti? I think there is. I need to figure that out. This thing was huge. She put it down and she said those words that people say all the time, "I won't bother you." Famous last words, right? And then she proceeded to launch into a tirade about how crowded these roads were and how even the coffee shop is just way too packed. So at that point, we started talking about Christmas. I was working on some stuff for Christmas and how excited we both were for this season. And somehow, I let my guard down. I never do this. It came out that I'm a pastor. Usually I say I'm in sales or something. I'm importing and exporting like George Costanza. It's import and export things. That's what I do. Keep it very vague. Because I always know what's coming, right? But she got me to admit it. And I told her, yeah, I'm a pastor and the season's really busy and on and on. And I asked her if she had a faith community, thinking, well, she seemed very nice. I'll invite her to Faith UCC, for Christmas. And just kind of making conversation. She looks around, almost embarrassed to say it, and she whispers something along the lines of, Christmas is the only time of the year that I go. She said, no offense, thinking I'm a pastor, right? Yeah, she says, no offense, but it's all fairy tales and made up stuff. But for some reason, I love going on Christmas. End quote. So she must have noticed my intrigued reaction, especially to her fairy tales comment. So she looks around again, and then she said, well, you don't really believe all that Christmas stuff, do you? Virgin births, stars and skies stopping over homes. Now, this was a really odd spot for me as a really progressive pastor, right? Because as you know, I'm usually the one asking that question of people and arguing with those who hold literal interpretations of religion. And here I found myself sort of in the opposite camp, engaging with someone who had just thrown the whole thing out. Baby, bathwater, all of it as fairy tales. And you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to defend the stories a little bit. I was almost tempted to say, yes, I believe it all happened just like it says in the Bible. That's how it happened. Just for the fun of a really good debate. But then I realized somebody might actually overhear me and mistake me for a biblical literalist. And I can be many things. Biblical literalist I cannot be. So I quickly denied her the opportunity for an argument. I said, no, we're in the same camp. She was quite surprised. Excuse me. But I couldn't resist the opportunity to engage her a little bit on this, though. So I went on to offer my opinion that as an atheist, which I assumed she considered herself, and she did affirm that, she agreed she was, as an atheist, she was just swimming in another stream of fundamentalism that biblical literalists swim in. That her atheist fairy tales comment and the biblical literalist rigidity are really just one in the same, because both, with dogmatic confidence, miss the point of the stories that we tell, especially during this season, especially the Christmas stories. The ones that, for some reason, even draw the atheists out for a Christmas Eve service. Let that sink in. So we talked about this a bit longer, but for the sake of brevity, let's just say she was quite stunned and a little offended to have been compared to a biblical literalist. apparently that didn't sit well with her. And so she picked up her big Frappuccino and her Gucci bag, and she went to another table when it opened up. She's always welcome at my table, but I'm guessing you won't see her sitting at it anytime soon. That's okay. So I've been thinking a lot about that conversation this week as I've spent time meditating on our scripture passage from John, and this notion of Jesus as the Word, the Logos of God, and really the Christmas stories in general, as they tell the story of Jesus being born on earth as the embodiment of God. Literally, God incarnate in a child, born to a mother in space and time. The idea of incarnation, which literally means taking flesh, incarnation means taking flesh, refers to the ways early Christians were beginning to understand Jesus after his death as his divinity grew and grew into the first and second centuries. It started early as Paul begins calling him Lord, a title reserved for God in ancient Judaism. And it continues as Matthew and Luke, a few decades later, they start to write and adopt stories of a young, unmarried woman, they say virgin, named Mary, being chosen as the vessel through which God could be enfleshed into the world. By the time we get to John's Gospel, which Kathy read for us, Jesus is not just born of a virgin named Mary. In fact, in John, Mary or Jesus' birth is never even mentioned. Did you pick up on that? Rather, Jesus just appears. And as I love what the Message translation says, the Word became flesh and blood and moved into the neighborhood. I love that. Other translations are more boring. They say the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. I'll take the Word became flesh and blood and moved into the neighborhood. Tough, though, to build a Christmas story out of John, right? Really tough. I mean, there's no manger. There's no shepherds. There's no magi. There's no Virgin Mary. There's no silent night, holy night. There's none of that. God just appears on earth, calls some disciples, and then goes off to a wedding party and turns water into enough wine to last for like 500 weddings. And parties into the wee small hours of the morning. Think about that. So in John's Jesus, it's my favorite Jesus, by the way. John's Jesus skips Christmas altogether and goes right to New Year's Eve. John is now my favorite gospel of all time. For John, then, this notion of incarnation really took off, and before long, debates and over time began to break out about the status of Jesus as the incarnation of God, with some camps claiming he was more human, more aligned with the prophets, a special God voice, but not truly God enfleshed on earth. But other camps are claiming he wasn't even human. He was a celestial being come to earth and only appeared to have a body. And in between those extremes, you had a lot of camps taking a middle road that Jesus was both God incarnate, but also a full human being at the same time. And from there on out, it all gets really confusing through a bunch of centuries of Trinitarian and atonement debates. Yada, 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 another Seinfeld reference. And then fast forward 1,900 years to today, and here we find ourselves once again still singing about virgins, angels, and suddenly now Santa Claus. I don't know how all that happened. Actually, give me the incarnation. I think that's much easier to understand. Give me the Trinity. In all seriousness, I'll be honest with you. I love the central claim of Christmas in this idea of incarnation. Might shock some of you. I find such meaning in it, such depth and mystery in this vision of the fullness of the cosmic essence of God, which to me is love, welling up so fully in a human being in space and time, and speaking a word of challenge to the powers of the world that think they are so invincible. I also know that as much as it is kind of unbelievable and irrational, maybe in some ways, when you think about it and the way it was presented in the Gospels, it's still amazing to me that the Jesus followers back in time trusted that notion so fully, this feeling that Jesus embodied divine love and radical inclusion so fully that he must have been manifesting the very nature of that which we ascribe to God, the creator and fullness of all love. And they found the language. They created the language to speak of him so. She's still mad at me, isn't she? She's like, I'm just going to let him have it. Oh, she wants another cookie. Get one for Casey, too. She gets all the cookies she wants today. That's just the way it goes. I love what spiritual writer Frederick Buechner said about incarnation when he said, quote, "The incarnation is a kind of vast joke whereby the creator of the ends of the earth comes among us in diapers." He goes on to say, "Until we too have taken the idea of the God-man seriously enough to be scandalized by it, we have not taken it as seriously as it demands to be taken." End quote. I love what Jesuit paleontologist priest Teilhard de Chardin, one who's coming to have a big influence in my life right now as I read more and more of him, he sees theology from kind of a cosmic and universal and scientific spiritual approach. And he wrote this: "The incarnation is a making new, a restoration of all the universe's forces and powers. Christ is the instrument, the center, the end of the whole of animate and material creation. Through him, everything is created, sanctified, and vivified. This is the constant and general teaching of St. John and St. Paul, that most cosmic of sacred writers." That's interesting. "And it has passed into the most solemn formulas of the liturgy. And yet we repeat it, and generations to come will go on repeating it without ever being able to grasp or appreciate its profound and mysterious significance, bound up as it is with our understanding of the universe." I love that. Absurdity, mystery, cosmos, space and time, love and essence, restoration and purpose, a new form of God consciousness, all born in the hillsides of Galilee on a quiet night under the stars, to a young woman in a cave, in an evil world being crushed under the weight of an inhumane and vile and evil empire. Incarnation is God's enough, all caps, enough. Incarnation is God's enough, embodied in a baby that will grow to live a life like no other before him, and maybe no other since him, and who will inspire others to enflesh the love and mystery and justice of God in our own ways, in our own time, as further acts of incarnation. You see, that's the thing I've come to conclude this week about incarnation and really Advent and Christmas. They didn't just happen once upon a time, only in the hillsides of Galilee on that quiet night under those stars. It happens all the time, right? When we manifest the same love of God into a hurting world, or when we shine light into the darkness in our own times, or when we speak truth to power, or when we drown out evil with compassion. In those moments, the universe shifts in incarnational movement, and the world stands ontologically changed, and God appears again and again and again. Incarnation didn't just happen, in other words. Rather, it happens all the time when we birth God into the world in some way through love, hope, peace, and joy. So thank God that we have this season, these 4 weeks to remind ourselves of that. I want to close with a wonderful thought from Barbara Brown Taylor, gifted preacher and an author who since has left the church, actually. She wrote one of her books that we are all a little like Mary. Think about that. We're all a little like Mary in the sense when it comes to birthing God into the world. She wrote this. She said, on the one hand, Mary was just a girl, an immature and frightened girl who had the good sense to believe what an angel told her in what seemed like a dream. On the other hand, she was the mother of the Son of God, with faith enough to move mountains, to sing about the victories of her Son as if he were already at the right hand of his Father, instead of a dollop of cells in her womb. When we allow God to be born in us, there's no telling at all, what will come out. End quote. That's the spirit of incarnation, summed up so well in a few words. When we allow God to be born in us, there is no telling what will come out. Incarnation is a story, and it's a reality. It's a story in that we say it happened once upon a time, and it's a reality that it happens all the time. It's not a concept to be understood rationally, but it's a truth to be lived realistically. If you really want to see what it looks like, what incarnation looks like, what God in flesh looks like, well, you can always just go look in the mirror. Go look in the mirror. And then go and do some good in the world. For that's incarnation. May the fullness of Advent and Christmas peace be with all of you. Merry Christmas. Happy incarnation. Go look in the mirror later. See it for itself. Amen. That was fun. That was fun. Some Advent fun. Will you join me in a little deeper sense of stillness and prayer in this time? Let's enjoy a moment of silent prayer together. As we center ourselves in this season of Advent, oh God, may the things we hold in joy continue to give us life and fill us with peace and May this season of light and color, hope and love, mystery and beauty inspire within each of us a sense of wonder and give us the courage to journey through the good times and especially through the not so good times in our lives, knowing that every moment is infused with the fullness of your Christmas presence that will never leave us alone. May the burdens that we carry within us, illness, grief, uncertainty, anxiety, so much more the people are feeling in this time. May these be overpowered by a Christmas trust that comforts and heals and bears witness to the confidence that we are forever held firmly within your holy mysteries. So we lift ourselves to that presence wherever we are this day. We lift the world with all of its pain, division, and evil. We lift our world and places of suffering to that presence this day as well. And through it all, we dare to hope that light truly will shine in the darkness, and Emmanuel will be there to greet us again and again. And let us not forget about gratitude, O God, this day, for another day of joy to live. Let's give thanks. And for this community, this sanctuary of safety, support, and inclusion, let us stand in gratitude. For Isabel and her bright and wonderful spirit, let us stand in gratitude. For the beauty of the world and for the things and loved ones that inspire us, let us stand in the fullness of gratitude. May the lights sparkle a little brighter this year in our hearts, O God, and in our lives and in our world. This is our Christmas hope. I wonder now if you'll join me in praying together a beautiful interpretation of that prayer that that little baby will grow up to teach us from those hillsides so far away. Words are on the screen. Indwelling God, infused through our always existence, we honor you with many names. Your realm is within the human heart. We accept life for all that it can be, on earth as throughout all creation. May we continue to draw sustenance from this earth, and may we receive forgiveness equal to our own. May we ever move from separation toward union to living grace with love in our hearts forever and ever. Amen. As we come to the conclusion of our service, I always just want to take a moment and just say thank you for your incredible generosity, whether it be through your time or your talent or through your treasure and your giving. Just know how grateful I am on behalf of the church for your just incredible generosity. I don't know how else to say it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't had a chance to, even though we're going to look over the budget today, if you're like, oh, I haven't gotten a pledge in, you can still do that. So it's okay to come in a little late. That's just fine. That's how I live my life. So, hey. So you can still see Betty. She's in the, is Betty here today? No, Betty is not here today. She'll be here in a minute. Oh, she'll be here in a minute. Okay, you can see Betty. You can see Fran, our moderator Fran, and we can get you a pledge card if you like, I want to invest in this community. There's a lot going on out there right now that we need to watch really carefully. There's a lot of exclusion going on out there. There is a lot of, for some reason, this LGBTQ hatred that has just risen up and anti-Semitism. Where is all this coming from? I mean, I think we know, name the elephant in the room, but it's getting beyond control. So we need this place to put out rainbow banners, to put on murals, to paint murals of inclusion, and to never back down, because we will never, ever back down. And your support allows that to happen. So again, from my heart to yours, thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember to stick around. We're going to sing our way out of here, as we always do with our benediction song. We'll dedicate it today to Mama Liz. She loved to sing this song. She loved to stand and hug when this song was playing. So for Mama Liz, this our dedication, benediction song is for you this day. And remember to come out and celebrate her life. I'll put more in the newsletter about it, so you'll have all the dates and times. Friday night, 6 to 8, Saturday, this coming Saturday the 17th at 2 p.m. So come on out and celebrate her. But let's sing for her. Let's sing for peace, and then stick around. Don't even leave the sanctuary, right? We're going to hand out the budget right afterwards. So after we do our song, and you know what? You might want to refrain from holding hands today. I think this might be a good day to kind of keep the hand holding to a minimum. You're all adults. You got to do what you got to do. Your adulting, obviously, but let's protect each other and maybe take a few weeks off from the hand holding to keep ourselves healthy. Let's sing our way out of here and then sit back down for our congregational meeting. Let it begin with us. Find someone that can help you hand them out.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until we start.
Oh, okay.
We're supposed to stay and not go for snacks.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get going like pretty quick here.
that being distributed or is it?
I just want to wait till the family gets out.
I'll get it right one of these days. Have a great rest of your day.
Close up. And I have my jacket and my blouse.
Good stuff.
Yep, nice service. I just want the family to be able to leave before we start.
Yeah, you're taking off right now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people did go out, especially
I hope so.
I'll rope them up in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Got Don and Chris on the lookout for Brian, which is great. So I don't think he was here today. So.
She was hoping.
Yeah, that's right. Vine was just weighing things down too low. It was that sometimes. So it kind of pops, and then it's kind of lower the.
Well, we gotta get AD special scheduled too. I'm guessing we probably can't get into the first of the year. I'll try to get this scheduled first of the year.
You want to,
Or maybe earlier.
you want to pass this around if there's any questions? I'm saying, I'm asking if Michael volunteered to do this.
Not me.
Joanne had to take off. She wasn't staying for the graduation.
That's right.
Hey, Mike says you're doing it. End of story.
Turn our candles on this morning. I can't believe how he said he turned it on.
Just kind of reset the whole thing back.
It's amazing. John Dunbar. John Dunbar. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Hello? Hello? Good morning, everyone. Tell them in the back to be quiet. Good morning, everyone. Is that better? Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If we can get the rowdy group in the back to be quiet, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Wendy, do we have a quorum? All right, thank you. We have a quorum this morning. A couple of announcements before we go to the budget. At our last meeting, we reported that we'd had an offer on a small, tiny piece of land in the back of our property for $7,500. And there's nothing to report except that the couple that lives in that house will be meeting with the leadership team on the 20th of this month so that we can discuss what it is they want to do and we can have some better idea of something to bring back to the congregation for a vote. So nothing further to report except that we're going to be meeting. At the end of this month, two of our members, of our beloved members of the leadership team, are going to be rotating off after having served their two-year terms. So Molly Hancock, who has been our congregational life leader, and Marge Brown, who has been our new member leader, will be rotating off. And can we just give a round of applause to the wonderful... And Betty Mann, who's in the back rolling little Dylan, and I have served 1 2-year term, and we're eligible to be reelected should you so desire. But we have had a nominating committee made up of Mike Eccles, Esther Tanner, and Dan Mann, and they have the names of 2 people that they would like to bring forward, and I'm going to ask Esther to come up and tell you a little bit about these 2 new folks.
Good morning. Good morning. Is that good? So our nominating committee is very proud and pleased to present the following candidates for Congressional Care Leader. It's kind of like the eyes and ears of caregiving in the church in support of our pastor and the leadership team. So Pat Sargent is our lovely candidate. And Pat, I'll just tell you a little bit about her. Pat has been a member of Faith UCC of Dunedin for 8 years. She worked as an RN for 41 years, and in the early years worked in the orthopedic medical surgical units. She worked alongside her husband, Bob, our beloved Bob, in Faith UCC churches and served in Connecticut and New York. And then she says, after he rescued me from the Episcopalians. And those are his words, obviously. Pat moved to Florida 26 years ago and worked with local hospice as the nurse manager of hospice houses. The last 8 years were spent visiting hospice patients in their homes. She was a volunteer with Baycare's Faith Community nursing programs for many years, and now volunteers twice weekly at the outpatient lab of Dunedin Hospital. She is the proud mother of 4 sons. Thank you, Pat, for accepting, and hopefully for you. So our core teams leader, because we have many core teams, is Tom Miller, member of our choir. And he is I'll tell you a little bit about him. I'm learning a lot about him. So Tom moved from Harrisburg, PA to Dunedin in February of 2022. After the death of his 92-year-old father. He is a graduate of Shippensburg University in Pennsylvania with a degree in finance. Tom spent most of his career in banking in Harrisburg market and managed various bank branches. Currently, he works at West Shore Financial Group in Tampa as a financial advisor. Throughout his life, Tom volunteered in church leadership positions, including youth ministry, chair in evangelism, peace and service chair. He has the treasurer of St. Barnabas Center of Ministry, which provides a summer camp program for low-income youth. And in addition, Tom is the past president of 2 Rotary clubs. Currently, Tom is active in the choir at Faith UCC, as we have all know and enjoy, a member of the Rotary Club of Dunedin North, and a mentor at Palm Harbor Middle School through the YMCA. In his spare time, mind you, he enjoys walking his dog Carlos, spending time at the beach, and traveling. And we thank Tom for accepting to be a candidate. Thank you all. I just wanted to add that, as she mentioned earlier, Fran, both Fran and Betty, Fran as the moderator and Betty as the financial development leader, are also up for your nomination this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther, and we'll be voting on the new slate for leadership team at our congregational meeting next week. Thank you. And thanks to the committee for the work of finding people, and it's a joy for us to have some, Pat, who's been a member of the congregation for quite a while, and Tom, who's a brand new member of the congregation, to add to the leadership team. So, thank you. The main part of business today is looking at our proposed budget for 2023. And for this, I want to thank the finance team that's led by Betty Mann and Anna Jane Lowe, Michelle Friedman, and Victor Lucas helped work on the budget. And since so many people are new to Faith, I just wanted to go over a little bit of the financial background that we've had here. 11 years ago, we had a property on Drew Street. That was where Faith UCC started, 55 years ago, I guess. Because of the fact that the building was in rough shape and because the congregation was declining and there were finance problems, the property was sold to St. Pete College. We rented a space for a year. We were kind of out in the wilderness for a year, and then we purchased this property, which had been a Christian Science reading room. We took about $100,000 from the sale and invested it in refurbishing this building to make it into what it was prior to adding the addition to it. And the remainder of the money that came from the sale, which was $440,000, went into an account with Morgan Stanley. Over the next 8 years, we withdrew $439,000 from that account. So you can tell that the fund has been well managed. And because of wise investing and a strong stock market up until this year, our fund now stands at $252,000 that is in the Morgan Stanley fund. For many years, prior to the time even that Ivan and I joined, and that's been 11 or 12 years, in order to meet budget, we had to withdraw money from the Morgan Stanley account in order to pay our bills. Until the pandemic, when an amazing thing happened. Our expenses went down because the building wasn't open, but in turn, our giving went up, which was really exciting. And we took in, Marge, where are you? How many members did we take in during the pandemic? Close to 30, wasn't it? 31 new members joined Faith UCC while we were closed for 18 months during the pandemic, which just gives you an idea of how strong this community is and how wonderful it is. Because we had some extra money, one of the things that we started doing during the pandemic was to give a $500 gift each month to a local charity, HEP, the Dunedin Cares, the Women's Housing. There have been all kinds of organizations that we have given that gift to. Also, Be Like Brit, which is an orphanage in Haiti that many of us have gotten to visit. Elizabeth and I were on the last trip. Mike's been twice. It's a fabulous organization that we support, and also World Central Kitchen. So we have been able to continue that. We've had a committee called From the Heart with Kathy Doucette, Esther Tanner, and Deb Anderson, who have done research and provided us with the name of each month with an organization to get our $500. So we're really proud of the fact that for over 2 years now, we have not had to withdraw any funds from Morgan Stanley in order to pay our bills, which is just fabulous. So our proposed budget that you have in front of you is based on the fact that we do not yet have enough pledges to meet the budget, although we're hoping with all of the new members that continue to come in and not yet made a pledge that we'll be able to fulfill this budget. But on a final note, I would say that this time right now, it looks like we're going to be about $15,000 short of this year's budget. And so if any of you have, as Mike always says, extra coin in your pocket that you would like to contribute so that we can finish in the black this year, that would be great. So as looking at the budget, you can see that we have what our budget for 2022 is compared to our budget for 2023. The major changes in it is that the finance team has suggested a salary increase of 10% for all of our staff, including Mike and then the others that he mentioned before, the office manager, custodian, choir director, musician, and soprano. That adds $9,800 to the budget. You'll notice that healthcare has gone up and it has increased significantly. Mike gets his healthcare insurance through UCC, and prices have gone up, as they are for most of us. One of the big changes is designating more money for our webpage and podcasts. As we go along, that becomes more expensive, but we want to be able to reach far beyond our walls, and so that's really important. And we also anticipate another property increase. Again, we purchased that through the United Church of Christ, and that has gone up significantly both last year and this year. So with that, I would ask if you have questions. And who's got the mic? Tom's got the mic. Yeah. If you have a question about the budget, please raise your hand and Tom will bring you the mic.
Fran, why did we take the OCWN?
Why did we take the OCWN? Okay. The question is, why did we take the under budgeted income? The OCWM funding is for our church's wider mission. That was Betty, that's because we had a gift. Why did we do that?
Are we talking about last year?
In 2022, we had $500 for our.
Oh, someone gave us $500 to go specifically toward that. And we paid $1,500, so the amount we paid to our church's wider mission was $2,000 last year.
Okay. So it's going to be, this year it's going to be $1,500 because that difference in 500 is because we had a member who gave us $500 to increase last year. And that person is no longer a member, retired and moved away.
This is a minor question here, but this per capita line for the income, what is that?
Thank you for asking that. Per capita also for new members, each church that's in the conference of UCC is asked to pay $15 per head for each member of the church to go toward the benefits that we receive from the UCC. And An example of that would be when we had Neil here for our strategic planning. We get so many benefits from the conference. So the finance team decided this year that that rather than ask each person to give $15 per head, that we are just going to take that out of the budget rather than asking. The finance committee didn't think it was fair to ask people to give that money. So
I'm not talking about the expense, I'm talking about the income. You have a per capita income line.
that's because that
Where does that play?
Last year, we had some people give.
Yes. So that's what we anticipate, that there will be some people who will give even though we're not requiring it.
Oh, I see, okay.
Okay? Okay, yeah. I'm sorry? The church is obligated to pay. The finance committee didn't want individuals to have to pay that fee. But if you would so desire to give money for per capita, we would be glad to accept it after the first of the year. So, but yes, but we are required to pay $15 per member, and we currently have 171 members. That is not going to cover it. Well, under expenses, you can see the per capita. Yeah, yes, we're hoping that enough people will give that'll cover the 250, but we are, given the number of members that we have, we will pay close to $2,500 to the conference for our members. If you look under, halfway down the page, Carol, it says UCC per capita.
Oh, I see, 2475.
Right.
That's expenses?
Yes, that's what we will pay out of our budget.
We're paying 2475, but you only anticipate coming in 250.
Right, in income, correct.
This is expenses.
The-
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So yes, the very top is the total budgeted income, and everything below that top level is what we anticipate our expenses are going to be. Other questions? Betty? Tom's got his football uniform on, so he can get around fast.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, or
Is that on?
is this working? Is it on?
I'm looking at Casey.
Is it on? Yes, okay. I just noticed the very last line is cut off for the electronics. Is it on your copy? Is there some, yeah, the 8,700 for electronics is cut off of that one.
Yes, so, and we are anticipating that will probably come out of our memorial fund.
Right, but I wanted to show it there so people could approve it.
But it's on your paper, correct?
On the paper.
Yes, on the paper. But
It's on the written one, but it's not on the screen.
correct. So the people at home can't see that we have an additional
Right.
8,700
For electronics.
for electronics, which is, as we mentioned earlier, getting new speakers up here, moving these speakers to the back so that you'll be able to hear better in the back, getting a camera so that Casey will have more ability to catch everything that's going on in the sanctuary with the new camera, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And new. Yeah, now it's working.
And we'll have the TVs tied together in the gathering space in the back room.
Right,
So if people would step out and see the service in real time, not a 20-second delay.
right. So that'll be nice too for people who are working on hospitality or may have to go to the back.
Good morning. If we would like to pay the church our apportionment of $15, how might we go about that?
All you have to do is write a check
Mhm.
and indicate that it's for per capita or it's on our Banco. Isn't it on Banco as well? Or the per capita, is there a line on Banco that people can pay that way?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Just write a check.
Anybody who would like to pay their per capita, just write a check and note that it's for per capita.
Excellent.
Yes, very few. We only have about 5 people that use envelopes anymore, Carol. And you and Willard are one of them. So, Anybody else? Questions? Okay.
Paying for a custodian. We should not be paying anybody to be cussing in this building.
Oh, Rod wants to know why we're paying a custodian instead of a custodian. So, good eyes, Rod. Thank you. That's right. It's Betty's Southern accent. Any other comments? Okay. Okay, if I hear no other comments, we will vote. If you have comments, please be in touch with us this week, and we'll try and answer them next week at our congregational meeting before we vote. One other thing, you might have noticed that we have a different piano up here. Our piano has been taken to get repaired. It'll probably be 3 or 4 months before we get it back, but we were delighted that someone has loaned us, or given us, loaned us this.
Given us, and it's now, it's Brian's.
Okay.
Brian Smalley.
Okay, so this is Brian Smalley's piano that he is lending to us while our piano is off being repaired. So thank you, Brian, for that. Anything else? Any other announcements? He's not here, but I want to thank our custodian. Last year, the Von Meigens and Meredith did all of the decorations, and the Von Meigens were sick they were 2 of our COVID patients in the last couple of weeks, and I helped last year. I was not able to do it because of my hip issues. Meredith was taking care of other people in the congregation, so Martin came in. He took pictures last year of everything, and Martin came in and did everything himself to decorate. So he's just a fabulous custodian. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, Tom. Earlier, I know you mentioned the thing about the property, and I didn't hear, was there a conclusion to that? What conclusion was reached, or what?
Nothing has happened yet. The leadership team is meeting with the property owners on the 20th to find out more about what they want and how we can accommodate it. So we will come back to the congregation whatever the proposal is made, but we don't know anything more yet. Okay. Anything else?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Mike forgot to mention that next Sunday is Ugly Sweater Sunday, so please bring out all your ugly Christmas sweaters. Yes, thank you, Wendy. We look forward.
Wear purple.
Okay. Karen.
Did you say for the year?
I'm sorry? Yes, we are.
Ending this year short?
Yes, this year it appears that we're about $15,000 short of meeting budget.
Would we be taking that from the savings?
Okay, the question, Betty, Betty, before you leave, Karen asked the question, it looks like we're going to be about $15,000 short this year, and the question is, how are we going to pay for that?
Oh, we have money.
Okay, it's in the.
We have enough cash in the checking account to pay it. We won't have to take anything out of our investments, but we really like to meet our annual expenses. Last year, someone threw in a nice contribution at the end of the year, which made us in the black. So hopefully a few people will come forward this year.
Yes, if you want to make a Christmas donation to Faith, we would gladly accept it. So, any other questions? Okay, so we will meet again next week, and we will vote on our leadership team members and also on the budget. If you have questions in the meantime, please let us know. And with that, we are dismissed. Thank you very much.